Hey everyone, welcome to Weekend Project. I'm Laura Lynn of the Mama Pop Quilt Shop, and we're very happy to see you here today. Today we're working on block 7 and block 8 of our Halloween 2019 quilt. And this is the Witch's Boots and Brooms. The boots are 15.5 by 10.5. And the piece that they need to sit on. So you can do this in many different ways. If you go and you click on the free pattern part of it, it actually shows you 4 different boots of like 4 different legs and so on and so forth. I did it a different way. You can do whatever way you like. This is the way I did it. So I've got 2 sets of boots, a left and a right, so it looks like maybe the witches are dancing or they're just jumping on their brooms and heading off for a good time, whatever the case may be. So this is how I've done mine. When I have traced out my templates that I copied via my monitor, and I just stretched it out to the size it was going to fit, and then traced it out that was a good size. And if you just want to know the average size of a boot here that I have taken, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 inches this way, and and probably 3 inches that way. And of course I make sure you trace out the heel separately, so you can do that in a separate color like I did with these ones here, and of course socks and legs and everything else like that. So there's the back side, and I just chose a very neutral thread to stitch it all together. And be very creative. You can have mismatched socks, you could have holes in the socks, you could have spider webs on the toe of the shoe, or a bug, a cockroach, a beetle. It doesn't matter. I mean, you could really think crazy on this if you really wanted to. So we're gonna make another set like this, but with 2 other sets of boots. I have the leopardy print that we did make a cat out of. I got some boots going on here, and of course that green fabric that I wanted to make a pair of boots out of. And I have some heels here. So when you're doing your tracing out, you need to make sure you're doing a left and a right if that's what you want to do. What I have going on is like a set and then a set, or you can do like the 4 and the 4, one setting, one going one direction, one going the other. Completely up to you, and you can do them straight. I've done them on an angle just because I thought it'd be fun and funky, and it's my quilt, so I can do what I want. Just make sure you have allowing enough space, to be able to finish it all, okay? And you're making sure that when you're using with your template, you're tracing on that side, and then if you wanted to do the other boot or the other side, you have to go and flip it to the other, and then retrace back out, okay? So it's not too hard. So that's the 7 block. And this would be block 8, which would be the brooms. And then if you scroll down just a little bit more, there's a few little pumpkins you could, trace out if you want. I chose a toad for this one, a pumpkin for this one. There's like a couple of, trick-or-treat bags or some little handbags or whatever. You could do whatever you like. You could even just leave the space empty, or even make a bigger broom instead to fill up the whole space. It's up to you. So, the design implement is all yours. We're just helping you, kind of guide you there by having all the free patterns, and you got to give it your own flair, right? So, all right, so let's first start off with the boots before we finish the brooms. Okay, so let's first cut out the heels. I pretty much cut out everything because I know you know how to cut stuff out. So we'll just do the heels. Like I said, I did those one direction and one the other. And it's just a rough guideline, right? So, and you want to make them really fun, funky colors. I've got the gray with the orange and the black and the white, and that print, and then with the green with the orange. I thought kind of why not? Who says I can't, right? So, and the purple heels with the purple boots there. So, I'm sure you got some pretty wild, crazy fabric in your stash. You could definitely be busting for sure. Okay, so in this one, you could have socks. You could have it so it's, one of the pantyhoses is down. It's got a run in it. You can have it so the laces is broken. You only got, you're actually lacing it up. There's lots of little spaces right in here to do little lace if you so wish it. I'm just going to try and make sure these are all where they need to be. I'm only concentrating on the heels and the legs at the moment, and then I'll put the socks and the boots on, or the heels, or at that point in time. So really it's just the boots for these guys. So I'm just going to want to make sure they were where I wanted them. And then that was white fabric that I chose for the backing of my brooms, and this is a very light gray that I chose for the backing of my boots. So if you want to use your coordinating fabric, that is fine. I just wanted something to be able to, for my colors of my boots and stuff like that, to be able to stand out on, so I chose a nice light gray. And of course it goes with the whole quilt project. Okay. Were those where they needed to be? I think so. We'll put some high heel boots. Okay, I want to make sure they're right in the spot they need to be, because it looks like they're layered, right? So let's put that up just a little bit. There we go. And then we'll put those two little boots in their spots. Okay. Here. And then you could use a blanket stitch, you could use a whip stitch, you could do whatever you like. I'm going to do a little zigzag just in this neutral tone fabric or thread, just to get the legs and the heels down, and then be able to pop on the boots. Of course, this one here is going to be the socks first before the boots go on though, okay? But we'll get to that, okay? So a nice zigzag, it's 0.75, and I'm starting at the very top. I'm working my way all the way down. I'll do the strips of the legs first. Whether they're pantyhose or their legs, it doesn't matter. Whatever people interpret it as. And you don't need to do underneath here, because you're going to end up putting the socks on top there, so you don't have to worry about that part. Okay. So we'll just cut the thread and then come down on this side. Now you can be very creative with this. If you had some really neat Halloween fabric or some lacy print, that would be kind of neat for leggings or boots. That's for sure. You can be very creative with your threads and your thread choices when you're stitching down things, like I did with the one broom. I tried to highlight the bit of the straw or if corn broom, sort of how it would maybe look if if it had a bit more of a dimension to it. So, had some straight stitches and went back and forth on an angle and here and there, and I think it turned out pretty good. Just gonna move this pin so it can come all the way down. I'm holding it in place though. Okay. There. Okay, now we'll put these guys in their spot. We just need to do like from the top of the heel all the way down to the bottom and then up the other side, because the top part of it is going to be hidden by the top or underneath part of the shoe. So. Can't believe we're going to be finishing this up next week. I'm very excited. Very excited. Okay, and then on to this side where this heel is. Stitch it down. Pin it out of the way. Make sure you're trying to stop on the outside. Just helps with the better alignment as you're trying to stitch on both pieces, out and in. Cut that there. And we'll do the other two before we start placing our boots, okay? So here, let's come up on this side. This is some white fabric that's got some lacy texture to it. So I thought that would be definitely for like a pair of leggings or leotards or however anybody says them. Cute, fun witch stuff. And they could use a black thread instead, but I'm trying to make some things blend, not to stand out too much. And of course, we'll chop off those bits to be even up with our edges after we finish the whole block. It's your imagination. Put some of your flair into it. Some people are not doing as many spiders. They're doing some crows. They're doing sorting hats. They're doing owls. It's awesome. It's awesome to see everybody's different interpretation of it. Like this is, you don't always get a lot of chance to do that in a quilt or like a quilt along sort of project. So when they give you the free reign, it's kind of nice to have it and be able to add your own stamp and creativity on your project, because this is going to be your Halloween project. Either you're going to give it away or you're going to keep it every year. So hopefully you end up keeping it or give it to a loved one. Okay. All right, so those are our white leggings done, and then we're going to do our orange heels. On the outside, flip, and this way. And it's just a matter of building out your layers and getting your layout correctly. This way, and then we'll start placing our boots and our socks. We're going to want to trim up some of these little wayward threads here so they don't irritate us. Okay. First we have all of our pins out, which is good. And we'll just kind of clip some of these little threads, get them out of the way. Those ones are going to be hidden under the boots, but sometimes it's nice just to get them done and dealt with. Come on, come on. Alright, and then these ones. Okay, and pull that one out. Okay, now let's line up our boots. Now that we got our legs and our heels all done together, okay, we're going to have to put our socks down first. So let's line up our heel first over our boot. Okay, and we'll put our sock in. And we'll pin our sock where we think it's going to be, and then we'll put our boot on top of that, okay? So there we go. So that's pinning our sock in place. Oops, put this back over here, silly. Move that there. Okay. So you got a bit of a heel. I'm trying to make the heel gaps in between the shoes as even as possible, as if you're going to line it up to sew the shoes down, right? So pin that sock in place. Okay, we'll pin those two. And now we'll line up these guys because they can go where they need to be because their boots are almost done. So let's pin that into place. And the next one, you just have to make sure you're making a left and a right. And hopefully the same size and same style, and it'll all look just perfect. Okay, so now let's sew those guys down here. Our socks on first. Sorry. It's been a very wet, dreary day. Very, very wet and dreary. Okay, so that's one sock on. Let's get the other sock on, and then we'll sew our boots, our green boots on, and then we'll sew our leopard print boots on. Okay. This, get it into position. And this is a great place to use variegated threads, some really funky threads you have in your collection. You just never know what you were going to do with before. You know, this is a great way to deal with them for sure. You know, is using them and incorporating them into some sort of a fun project like this. Okay, so let's just pin this boot here. Heel was going this way and there. Okay, so pin that. And then the next one going this way. Move it down just a smidge so you can just see the sock. Put that in place, and there we go. That'll be our green boots and our print boots. And why not? That's where you get to use some crazy threads and some crazy fabric. Just stitch these on here for right now. Okay. Right, now I just put the tops on, but that's okay. We're good. We're just going to sew this one down here now. And soften on the outside. Turn this around. And just follow the curve of the boot. And there were so many boots to choose from too. Like you didn't want this pattern, you could make up your own. You could incorporate a couple of styles that you liked. You can put, they have like 5 pairs of socks on, all different colors. So the options are endless, really. Just gotta let your imagination run wild. This is your fun Halloween quilt project. Hopefully it'll hang proudly in your house or your family member's house for many decades to come. There we go. Beautiful. I like that. I like the boots actually with that color. That looks really pretty. Very, very pretty. Okay, now let's do this one here. Okay. That out of the way. I'm going to be whipping the fabric around. I might just flip it off. Remember to take your time. It's not a race. You can take your time at home. You don't have to do it like the 20 minutes that I'm doing it in sort of thing, but I've done a lot of prep ahead of time. It's going to take you time to go pick out your fabrics you want for heels and boots and socks and pantyhose and, you know, anything else. Like I said, if you want multi-layered socks, you can have pairs, you know, 2 pairs of socks, like a pair of socks and a pair of pantyhose right there, or leggings or whatever, right? So, you know, do some multicolored, do some fun stuff, have some different colors. Have, you know, little witches have familiars usually, so I tried to have a pumpkin in one of with the broom, so the broom wasn't by itself, and then I have a little frog in the next. I mean, it's up to you. You can do what you like. I love seeing everybody's different take on it, different variation. You don't, like I say, you don't usually get a lot of freedom when you're doing projects like this. This is one that kind of gives you quite a bit of freedom to add your own little flair to it. And I just think everybody should have a chance to add their own flair, right? So, all right, let's go back and do the bottom of these boots here. And That's my 2 sets of boots done. So it's 4 little witches out for a party. You can always add wands to go beside the brooms if you like. You could add a wand in this section here. You could add a wand anywhere, really, if you wanted to, if you felt like each witch needed to have some sort of implementation of magic juju-ness. That's up to you. There's lots of little things you could add on your own, right? We have some big spiders coming in the end, but that's going to be one of the very last blocks because they are different than just in their own block. So that's why we've saved them for last. Okay, there we go. And that would be 2 sets of boots done. Isn't that nice? Oh, over there. There we go. That looks very cool. Very nice. And then we'll just trim that up. We'll just trim these up and here on the lines. And that's our 2 sets of boots. They're like kicking it up. They're going for a party. Boot, scoot, and boogie. All right, so then for their last bit here, like I said, I added a pumpkin and I added buttons for the eyes of the pumpkin. You can use glow-in-the-dark thread. I thought about doing a little triangle stitch for the nose. I haven't quite decided yet. I tried to add some extra loving and stitches to the broom part here, or the corn broom part, and then of course it's the same color as the leggings, but it's still like bringing it all in. And I used some wood fabric for the broom handle, and the same for this one too. And I chose a very nice light colored for the bottom part of the broom. I don't know, I like the little green and the blue and the white because I think it just kind of plays with other colors that are going on into the quilt. So this piece right here is 7 by 14.5, and of course you can save the image, and then in the saved image, when you go to bring it up again, you can use the zoom on your monitor in your, like, it's a little zoom that makes things from smaller to bigger, and then you can fit it between an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and you should be able to get everything on there just fine. So you of course want to make it a little bit longer here and then here, so you have some overlappage, so they look like they are attached. Okay, so but use an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. That's exactly what I did. Traced it all out, chose the 2 that I like, and of course the pumpkin and the frog, and then I had all my boots, and then I just had to make a flip version of what was going to go on next. Okay, and then of course the legs are, you know, 3/4 by 4.5 and 3/4 by 5.5. So, but you know, depending on where you put them, you can do whatever you like with them. You can make them longer. So all right, so let's just, this is one of the brooms that we just need to finish up, and I'll just do the stick part first, and then we'll add the others. And you can be very creative with this fabric. You can just have a tan fabric. You can just have a brown fabric. You can have black, purple. There's all sorts of different colors of woods out there. There's purple heart, there's redwood, of course. You know, there's black, it's ebony. There's many different colors of wood out there. So, you know, be very creative. Figure out what you got in your stash and just go crazy. Go crazy. You can just choose straight handle ones. You can choose ones that are a little bit more dramatic, like this one here with some curvatures. And you know, it's really up to you. You could free motion just draw this if you like. There's just the heat and press of the applique. You know, whatever makes you happy. Just happy we're all doing it together. And of course, just lift your foot as many times as you need when you're coming in and around projects to get it all stitched down evenly. Okay. Of course, if this was just plain fabric, you could grab a darker color thread that matches the fabric and then do all this little wood grain depth and texture with stitches if you so wish it. I mean, that's up to you. when I go to put my spider together, it's going to be lots of different colored blacks and grays fabrics because I really wanted the spider to stand out in dimension-wise. So, okay, so there's our stick. There's our stick all together. Now we're just going to line up our broomy part here and have it come down, then we'll stitch it, okay? Line it up. So it's overlapping and at least a little bit. It doesn't have to be too much, but just enough to give it that dimension of, yes, that's I'm a broom. Okay, we'll start at the top here. Some weird edges here. That's kind of a complicated part, trying to get around those swirly bits. Make sure you're doing it right and getting everything sewing down all those edges. Like I said, if you don't want to be so complicated, you don't have to make it so complicated. It's not going to take away from the beautiful Halloween quilt project. So, and I got a couple of like little wispy bits here where it's kind of just coming out. So I'm going to go backtrack and then come back up. And same again when it gets to this little part right here. I'm going to get here, and then I'm going to backtrack, and then come back up, and hopefully we got those. Looks okay to me so far. Can always go back if we missed a few stitches. Okay. Now, I'm going to change it to a straight stitch, and I'm going to make it so it looks like some tie of string and stuff like that is going across the top of the broom to keep the broom handle to the corn stalk. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of come over here at an angle. I'm just going to use this lovely reverse button, and I'm going to come back and forth. I'm going to twist my fabric many different ways. So it looks like it is tied. I'm just twisting my fabric. Okay. Now, if you got any that were beyond where you wanted them to go, you can just pick it out. Okay. I really wouldn't worry about it if it was just like one or two. Okay. So there we go. Isn't that neat? And then we'll just stitch, sew the froggy down and add some eyes and a little mouth with either, it can just be a Sharpie marker, or it can be with hand stitches of a embroidery floss or what have you. So those are our 2 blocks for today. So the boots, scoot and boogie. Like I said, if you want to do left and rights or rights and lefts or all lefts and all rights, it's completely up to you. Put your own little twist on it. Have fun. Make them look like they're dancing or flying or having a party. That's what Halloween is all about. And then, of course, these 2 ones that represent the brooms, okay? So can't wait to see what you guys are doing with your projects. And we'll see you tomorrow on the live stream, Saturday at 1 p.m., where we're going to still work on the vintage baskets. And that'll be one of the projects being able to give away to one of the subscribers of our channel as a Christmas gift, okay? Come December, all right? So take care, everybody. Have a fantastic day, and we will see you soon, okay? Bye.